welcome to another edition of our Tech Tip Tuesday video series. Today we're going to look at what it means to copy or move or add files in Google Drive. This is something that confuses a lot of people, so let's jump right in. The first one to look at, and the easiest one to look at, is simply copying. And copying, simply put, is when you take a document, whether you own it or somebody else owns it, and you make a copy of it. And when you make that copy, then that copy becomes your property and you can do whatever you want with that copy. So if you're concerned about possibly messing up somebody's original, you always want to make a copy. Now, there's a couple different ways you can make a copy. The easiest way is if you just simply see the document and you decide, like, let's say I want to make a copy of this document right here. An easy way to do it is just to do a right click on it, and this menu is going to pop down, and I can make a copy right here. And it's going to automatically make a copy of that. I'm going to show you what this process looks like because I'm in the Shared With Me area. And so I got to show you how you're going to locate this document. So I'm going to click on Make a Copy, and it's going to work. Let me get this menu out of the way. It's creating a copy, it's telling me. And in just a second, you're going to see, here it is. It's located, and I can click on Locate, and it's going to actually take me to the place where that document has been copied. And you see right here, it says Copy Of, and so there it is. Actually have two copies because I was practicing with this earlier. I'm going to go ahead and open up one of these copies, because another place you can copy a document is by actually opening the document up. And this just has to be a Google Doc, but it could be a slide or anything. But you're going to come up here to the File menu, and here's where you can also make a copy. And when I click on Make a Copy, it's actually going to open up this window where it gives me the opportunity to rename it, and it also gives me the opportunity to decide where that document's going to be copied to. So by clicking on this, I can decide, I can drill into my drive, and I can decide what folder I want to put that in. So let's say I decide I want it to go here in my e-learning folder, which is down here. So I'm going to put it right there. I'm going to hit select, and so now it's going to be copied. Whatever I name this, it's going to be copied into that e-learning folder. And that's it. Now notice when you make copies, you can also make sure that you're sharing the copy with the same people. I usually don't select those. So then you just click OK. And when I click OK, it's actually going to open up that document, and it's going to actually make that copy for me right away. This was really handy if you have a document, for example, where you only have viewing rights. You can make a copy of it, and then you have your own copy. So that's how you can copy some things or copy a document or a file. The two other ones that we're going to look at are moving and adding something. So the first one, if you do a right click, you see that you have the opportunity to move a file someplace. And that means that you are basically going to be taking the file from one location and putting it into another location. So if I click on Move To, this little menu is going to pop up. It should look very similar to the one we saw earlier. And I want to move it to a certain location. I can move it. Okay. Now, even though I selected the Move To location when on that first menu, the cool thing is that I'm inside this menu and I have the Move Here icon right here. But if I click on if I hold my Control key down, notice that the Move Here changes to Add Here. So I can do either I can move it or I can add it. Now, moving it actually moves the file from one location to another location. If I select Add Here, then what it does is it simply creates a thumbnail at that new location that links back to the original file, wherever I have it saved. So it allows you to place, if you will, place a link to a file in multiple locations. But just know that when you add a file to a particular location, if you delete that linked file icon or the original, it deletes it from every place that you've added it, because you're just creating a link to the file itself. So adding a file gives you that opportunity to put it in multiple locations, but if you delete any of those locations, it will delete the original. moving it actually moves it from one location to another. And then, of course, if you delete it, it's deleted. So copying, moving, and adding can be a little bit daunting and a little bit confusing at times. So my suggestion is simply if you're not sure what you're doing, if you will, make a copy of the document before you move it or add it to your particular drive, so you're not impacting the original person's document. Now, the one thing I will say is, don't worry if you delete something. From everything I've read about Google Drive, only the owner is actually able to delete a file completely. So even though you delete it out of your drive and someone's given you editing rights, if they are the owner of that document, they will still retain those rights to that document. And so that is copying, adding, and moving.